Today we journey into the dark and twisted world of fear and hunger to explore one of its most enigmatic and terrifying figures, Rher, the Trickster Moon God. Over the next couple hours, we'll uncover the ancient mythology surrounding this jealous deity, his role in humanity's struggle for godhood, and the profound impact he has on the events of both fear and hunger games. So settle in, get comfortable, and let's begin this epic adventure into one of gaming's most disturbing and fascinating mythologies. Chapter 1. The Ancient Order of Gods. To understand Rher and his place in the cosmic hierarchy of fear and hunger, we must first explore the fundamental structure of divinity in this world. The universe of fear and hunger operates on a complex theological system where gods are divided into distinct categories: the old gods, the new gods, and the ascended gods. Each category represents different eras of divine power and different relationships with humanity itself. The old gods are the primordial beings, ancient entities that existed long before the dawn of human civilization. These are the creators and destroyers of the world, beings of such immense power that they shaped reality itself according to their whims and nature. Among these old gods, we find figures like Gro-Goroth, the destroyer of man and god of human sacrifice; Sylvian, the goddess of love and fertility who created mankind; and their offspring, Venushka, the volatile god of nature. These beings represent the most fundamental forces of existence: creation, destruction, love, death, and the wild, untamed aspects of reality. But perhaps most mysterious among these old gods is Rher, the Trickster Moon God. Unlike his fellow old gods, Rher never fully withdrew his attention from humanity. While Gro-Goroth and Sylvian eventually became disgusted with mankind's selfishness and narrow-mindedness, fading away from the mortal realm, Rher remained vigilant. He continued to observe, to scheme, and most importantly, to interfere with human affairs. This persistence would prove to be one of his defining characteristics, setting him apart from his divine brethren who had grown weary of mortal concerns. The world of fear and hunger does not follow a unified religious system. Instead, different factions worship different gods, creating a complex tapestry of belief systems that often conflict with one another. This religious diversity reflects the chaotic nature of the world itself, where multiple sources of power compete for influence and control. The old gods are seen as the true gods of the world, representing the most basic and primal concepts present in existence. They are not bound by human morality or understanding, operating according to their own alien logic and desires. What makes Rher particularly significant in this pantheon is his active antagonism toward human progress. While other old gods might be indifferent to humanity's fate, Rher takes a personal interest in preventing mankind from achieving divine status. This jealous nature, this unwillingness to share godhood with humans, becomes the driving force behind many of the most tragic events in the fear and hunger timeline. His motivations, while incomprehensible to both new gods and humans alike, stem from a fundamental belief that mortals should not have the same rights as true gods. The distinction between old gods and new gods is crucial to understanding Rher's antagonism. New gods are humans who have ascended to divinity, mortals who have achieved godhood through various means, often involving the ancient city of Mahabharata and its throne of ascension. These new gods represent humanity's endless potential, their ability to transcend their mortal limitations and achieve something approaching divine power. To Rher, this represents an affront to the natural order, a corruption of what godhood should represent. This cosmic tension between old and new, between primordial power and human ambition, forms the backdrop against which Rher's story unfolds. He stands as a guardian of the old ways, a jealous protector of divine privilege who sees human ascension as both mockery and threat. His methods of combating this perceived threat range from subtle manipulation to direct intervention, always working to undermine human potential and prevent the rise of new divine powers. Chapter 2. The jealous nature of the Moon God. Rher's defining characteristic is his jealous nature, a trait that permeates every aspect of his being and drives all of his actions throughout the Fear and Hunger series. This jealousy is not the petty emotion we might recognize in mortals, but something far more profound and cosmic in scope. It represents a fundamental rejection of change, a desperate attempt to preserve an ancient order that he sees as natural and proper. The new gods themselves describe Rher as a jealous kind who would not share godhood and the world order with humans and the new gods. They acknowledge his many ploys to diminish their influence, though they admit that his motivations seem incomprehensible to them. This incomprehensibility is key to understanding Rher's character. He operates according to a logic that predates human civilization, following thought patterns that are alien to mortal understanding. What drives this jealousy? At its core, Rher's jealousy stems from a belief that humans should not have the same rights as true gods. This is not merely an opinion or preference, but a fundamental article of faith that shapes his entire worldview. To Rher, godhood is not something to be achieved or earned, but something intrinsic to certain beings. The old gods are gods because that is their nature, their essential being. Humans attempting to achieve godhood represents a violation of cosmic law, a transgression against the natural order that must be corrected. This jealous nature manifests in numerous ways throughout the series. Rher sees the new gods as mocking and pretentious, viewing their ascension as a kind of cosmic joke played at the expense of true divinity. His response to this perceived mockery is systematic and calculated. Rather than expressing his displeasure through direct confrontation, Rher prefers subtlety, trickery, and long-term planning. He is, after all, the trickster god, and his methods reflect this aspect of his nature. The depth of Rher's jealousy becomes apparent when we consider the lengths to which he will go to prevent human ascension. He employs servants to hunt and kill children who might potentially become vessels for new gods. He orchestrates elaborate festivals designed to eliminate potential threats to the old order. He manipulates events across centuries, working patiently toward goals that might not come to fruition for generations. This is not the behavior of a being driven by mere petty jealousy, but of one consumed by a cosmic imperative to preserve what he sees as the fundamental structure of reality. Interestingly, Rher's jealousy is described as incomprehensible, even to other divine beings. The new gods, despite their own divine nature, cannot fully understand his motivations or methods. This suggests that Rher's jealousy operates on a level that transcends normal divine psychology. It is not simply that he wants to maintain his own power or status, but that he genuinely believes in the righteousness of his cause. In his view, he is not the villain of the story, but its hero, fighting to preserve cosmic justice against the tide of human ambition. This jealous nature also explains why Rher is described as one of the last old gods to still observe mankind. While his fellow old gods have grown tired of human affairs and withdrawn from the world, Rher cannot afford such luxury. His mission requires constant vigilance, endless observation, and careful timing. He must watch for signs of human ascension, identify potential threats to the old order, and act to neutralize them before they can fully manifest. This eternal watch is both his burden and his purpose, the price of his jealous commitment to preserving divine hierarchy. The tragedy of Rher's jealousy lies in its futility. Despite all his efforts, despite centuries of careful planning and intervention, humanity continues to ascend. New gods continue to emerge. The old order continues to erode, and Rher's cause becomes increasingly hopeless. Yet he persists, driven by a jealousy so profound that abandoning his mission would mean abandoning his very identity. He is trapped by his own nature, condemned to fight an endless battle against forces he cannot ultimately defeat. Chapter 3. The Moon as Symbol and Throne. The moon serves as both Rher's symbol and his literal seat of power, representing multiple layers of meaning within the fear and hunger mythology. As the moon god, Rher embodies many of the traditional associations with lunar imagery: mystery, change, hidden truth, and the revelation of what lies beneath surface appearances. However, in the context of this dark fantasy world, these associations take on far more sinister implications. In the Skin Bible dedicated to Rher, he is portrayed as a god of the insane and a trickster of madness. This connection between the moon and madness has deep roots in human mythology, where lunar cycles have long been associated with mental instability and the revelation of hidden truths. In Rher's case, this association is literal rather than metaphorical. His moonlight has the power to drive people insane, to transform them into moon-scorched beings whose humanity is stripped away in favor of monstrous forms that reflect their inner nature. The moon serves as Rher's vantage point from which he observes humanity. From this celestial throne, he watches the events of the mortal world unfold, identifying threats to the old order and planning his interventions accordingly. This elevated position symbolizes his detachment from human concerns, his ability to see the larger patterns of history while remaining emotionally removed from the individual suffering his actions cause. Yet, it also represents his isolation, his separation from the world he seeks to control. Ironically, despite being associated with madness and deception, Rher also represents truth. His moonlight illuminates those who are touched by its rays, revealing their true nature beneath whatever masks or facades they might wear. This is referenced in the occult book, The Truth Under the Moonlight, which explores themes of hiding one's true self under masks to control public images, and how ineffective this method ultimately proves to be when faced with lunar revelation. The moon reveals truth, but it is often a truth that drives the observer to madness. This dual nature of truth and madness is central to understanding Rher's character. He offers genuine insight and knowledge to those who seek it, but the price of this knowledge is often sanity itself. Engraving. Rher's sigil onto one's face increases mind, making one know more without going completely insane from the truth. This suggests that Rher's truth is not inherently maddening, but that the human mind is simply not equipped to process cosmic reality without being fundamentally altered by the experience. The moon also serves as a source of Rher's power over the mortal world. During the events of fear and hunger, Termina, the moonlight becomes a weapon, causing the condition known as moonscorch in those exposed to it for extended periods. This affliction transforms victims into monstrous beings that retain some aspects of their original personalities while being driven to homicidal madness. The transformation is both physical and psychological, representing a stripping away of civilized humanity to reveal the primal, beast-like nature that Rher believes lies at the core of all mortals. Moonscorch serves multiple purposes in Rher's grand design. On a practical level, it eliminates potential threats to the old order by transforming would-be heroes into monsters. On a symbolic level, it demonstrates Rher's fundamental argument about human nature, that beneath the veneer of civilization, humans are nothing more than beasts driven by base impulses. The moon-scorched beings are not aberrations or corruptions of humanity, but revelations of what humans truly are when all pretense is stripped away. The moon's phases also hold significance in Rher's symbolism. His emblem consists of 3 circles, with 2 positioned atop one of them, and within the top right circle lies a horizontal omega symbol adorned with a central dot. In his Skin Bible, illustrations suggest that the circle with the dot symbolizes an eye, while the overlap between the 3 circles hints at the crescent phases of the moon. This imagery connects Rher's power to the natural cycles of the celestial body he inhabits, suggesting that his influence waxes and wanes with lunar phases. Yet perhaps, most significantly, the moon represents Rher's persistence. Unlike the sun, which dominates the day but must yield to darkness, the moon maintains its presence throughout the night, watching, waiting, and observing. Even when not visible, its influence can be felt in the tides and the cycles of nature. Similarly, Rher's influence persists even when he's not directly active, working through his servants and the long-term consequences of his past actions. The moon is eternal, and so is Rher's jealous watch over humanity. Chapter 4. The Servants of the Trickster God. Rher's influence on the mortal world is largely exercised through his servants, each of whom embodies different aspects of his nature and serves specific functions in his grand design to prevent human ascension. These servants are not merely followers or worshippers, but actual creatures spawned by Rher's will, figments of his imagination given form and purpose in the material world. Their existence demonstrates the depth of Rher's power and the sophistication of his long-term planning. The most prominent of Rher's servants is Pocketcat, a being who has achieved legendary status as a boogeyman in children's stories and fairy tales. Pocketcat represents the intersection of Rher's trickster nature with his practical goals of preventing human ascension. Unlike mere adherents or worshippers, Pocketcat is an actual creature spawned by the moon god, created specifically to carry out his will on the mortal plane. This distinction is crucial, as it demonstrates that Rher's servants are extensions of his own divine essence, rather than independent beings who have chosen to serve him. Pocketcat's primary mission involves hunting and eliminating children who might potentially become vessels for new gods. This horrific task reflects Rher's understanding of how divine ascension typically occurs. Many new gods began their journey to divinity as children with special potential or divine parentage. By eliminating these children before they can fulfill their potential, Pocketcat strikes at the very source of humanity's divine ambitions. His methods are both practical and psychological, as the fear he generates serves to discourage those who might otherwise seek to protect potential divine candidates. The character of Pocketcat is deliberately designed to be both terrifying and oddly sympathetic. Despite engaging in acts of unspeakable evil, he displays what could be described as likable behavior. Expressing sentiments and emotions openly, he conducts himself with a strange form of respect, thoughtfulness, and even gentlemanly behavior, even when facing opponents in battle. This contradiction reflects Rher's own trickster nature, his ability to present evil in appealing forms and to make the monstrous seem reasonable or even charming. Pocketcat's existence as a figure in children's stories raises interesting questions about the nature of folklore in the fear and hunger world. Whether the fairy tale inspired Rher's creation of Pocketcat, or if the creature itself became the source of the tale, remains uncertain. This ambiguity is characteristic of Rher's methods, blurring the lines between reality and fiction, truth and myth. By embedding his servants in the collective unconscious through folklore, Rher ensures that his influence persists, even when his direct intervention is not immediately apparent. The second major servant of Rher is the Lady of Moon, a being who appeared out of the green hue within the ancient catacombs of Mahabra. Like Pocketcat, she is a direct creation of Rher rather than a converted worshipper. The Lady of Moon represents a different aspect of Rher's nature, embodying his connection to the mysterious realm known as the Green Hue, where the older beings originate. Her role seems to involve more direct interaction with potential threats to the old order, offering healing and aid while simultaneously working to advance Rher's agenda. The Lady of Moon's method of communication involves telepathy, and she claims her origin within the Green Hue, describing it as a realm where the world is perceived through the lens of a green-looking glass. This description provides insight into the otherworldly nature of Rher's servants, and their connection to planes of existence beyond normal human perception. Like her master, she disagrees with humanity having the same rights as the true old gods, believing that mortals do not deserve divine status. What makes the Lady of Moon particularly interesting is her willingness to provide aid to those she encounters, but always at a price. She can heal wounds and recover traumas, making individuals whole again, but only in exchange for what she considers the smallest price among a group, typically a child. This reflects Rher's understanding that humans can often be convinced to participate in their own downfall if the immediate benefits seem to outweigh the long-term costs. The Lady of Moon's healing represents a false mercy, a temporary reprieve that ultimately serves to advance Rher's larger goals, in Fear and Hunger. 2. Termina, Rher gains a new servant in the form of Perkele, who acts as his voice and observer during the Festival of Termina. Perkele represents a more sophisticated approach to Rher's interventions, serving as a direct intermediary between the god and the mortal participants in his schemes. However, the relationship between Perkele and Rher proves to be more complex than initially apparent, revealing layers of deception and manipulation that extend even to Rher's own servants. The revelation that Perkele actually serves the sulfur god rather than Rher directly demonstrates the complexity of divine politics in the Fear and Hunger universe. This betrayal suggests that even Rher, despite his cunning and power, can be outmaneuvered by other divine forces. It also raises questions about the nature of divine servitude and the extent to which even created beings might develop their own agendas that conflict with their original purpose. All of Rher's servants share certain characteristics that reflect their master's nature. They are beings of duality, capable of appearing helpful or harmless while pursuing deeply malevolent goals. They operate through deception and manipulation rather than direct force, preferring to convince their victims to participate willingly in their own destruction. They represent the seductive nature of evil, the way that corruption often presents itself as salvation or opportunity rather than obvious threat. The servants also demonstrate Rher's understanding of human psychology and his ability to exploit human weaknesses. Pocketcat appeals to greed and desperation, offering valuable items in exchange for moral compromises. The Lady of Moon exploits compassion and the desire for healing, using these positive impulses to achieve negative ends. Perkele appeals to ambition and the desire for transcendence, promising contestants in the Festival of Termina a chance at illustrious reality and a peek at grandeur. Perhaps most significantly, Rher's servants embody his patience and long-term thinking. They do not seek immediate gratification or quick victories, but instead work slowly and methodically toward goals that might not be achieved for generations. This patience reflects Rher's divine nature and his understanding that cosmic conflicts are measured in centuries rather than years. His servants are designed not just to achieve immediate objectives, but to establish patterns of behavior and belief that will continue to serve his purposes long after their individual missions are complete. Chapter 5. The War Against Human Ascension. Rher's primary objective throughout the Fear and Hunger series is to prevent humanity from achieving divine status and challenging the authority of the old gods. This war against human ascension is not fought through direct military conflict, but through a complex campaign of sabotage, manipulation, and strategic elimination of key figures who might lead humanity toward godhood. Understanding this conflict requires examining both Rher's methods and the specific targets he chooses to eliminate. The foundation of Rher's strategy lies in his understanding of how human ascension typically occurs. New gods are often humans who possessed some form of divine ancestry or potential from birth, individuals who were destined to serve as vessels for divine power. Many of these potential gods begin their journey as children, often through circumstances involving divine parentage or exposure to cosmic forces beyond normal human experience. By identifying and eliminating these children before they can fulfill their potential, Rher strikes at the very root of human divine ambition. This strategy explains the horrific mission assigned to Pocketcat and the Lady of Moon: hunting and killing children who have any sort of relationship with the new gods. This is not random violence or sadistic cruelty, but a calculated campaign designed to prevent these children from being used as vessels for new divine power. The servants target children specifically because Rher understands that divine potential often manifests early in life, and that preventing ascension is much easier than reversing it once it has already occurred. The case of Almer provides a clear example of the type of ascension Rher seeks to prevent. Almer was born of a virgin mother and supposedly sired by a false god, making him half man and half new god from birth. He gathered 12 apostles, challenged the old world order, and ultimately ascended to become one of the most powerful and influential new gods in the Fear and Hunger universe. Almer's success represents exactly the kind of human ascension that Rher fears and seeks to prevent. Rher's war against human ascension reaches a critical point during the events of the first Fear and Hunger game, when he learns of the daughter of the new god, Nilvan and Lagarde. This child represents a direct threat to the old order, being the offspring of both a new god and a visionary half-god. According to Rher's understanding of divine genealogy, such a child would possess immense potential for ascension, possibly even threatening the supremacy of the old gods themselves. In response to this threat, Rher dispatches both Pocketcat and the Lady of Moon to the Dungeon of Fear and Hunger, with explicit instructions to find and eliminate the child before she can fulfill her destiny. This represents one of Rher's most direct interventions in human affairs, a desperate attempt to prevent what he sees as a catastrophic threat to the cosmic order. The mission fails, however, due to the intervention of the protagonist and the careful planning of Nilvan herself. The failure of this mission results in the birth of the god of fear and hunger, an ascended god who rivals the old gods in power and influence. This represents a devastating defeat for Rher and his cause, demonstrating that despite his power and cunning, he is not infallible. The god of fear and hunger goes on to drive humanity into a new age of cultural and technological development, exactly the kind of progress that Rher sought to prevent. Yet Rher's failure in this instance may not be as complete as it initially appears. Some sources suggest that the turn of events might actually be part of a larger stratagem devised by the moon god, whose true plans remain hidden even from other divine beings. This possibility reflects the complexity of Rher's character and his reputation as a trickster. Even apparent defeats might serve larger purposes that are not immediately apparent to observers. Following this setback, Rher adapts his strategy and develops new methods for combating human ascension. Rather than relying solely on the elimination of specific individuals, he begins to focus on creating systemic obstacles to human divine achievement. This leads to the conception and implementation of the Festival of Termina, a recurring event designed to eliminate multiple potential threats simultaneously while creating the appearance of offering opportunity for ascension. The Festival of Termina represents perhaps Rher's most sophisticated anti-ascension strategy. By gathering multiple individuals with divine potential in a single location and forcing them to compete against each other, Rher ensures that most potential threats will be eliminated regardless of the specific outcome. The festival is presented as an opportunity for greatness, a chance for participants to achieve illustrious reality and experience the festival to end all festivals. In reality, it is a death trap designed to eliminate humanity's most promising divine candidates. The psychological aspects of Rher's anti-ascension campaign are as important as the physical elimination of threats. By creating an atmosphere of fear and suspicion around divine ascension, Rher discourages individuals from pursuing their divine potential even when they possess the capability to do so. The stories of children disappearing, the legends of the Festival of Termina, and the general atmosphere of cosmic horror surrounding divine matters all serve to make ascension seem too dangerous or costly to attempt. Rher's war against human ascension also involves more subtle forms of interference, such as the corruption of potential divine candidates through moonscorch or other forms of cosmic contamination. Rather than killing these individuals outright, these methods transform them into something that cannot achieve ascension while still technically being alive. This approach allows Rher to neutralize threats while avoiding some of the attention that more direct elimination might attract. The long-term nature of Rher's campaign against human ascension demonstrates his divine patience and his understanding that cosmic conflicts unfold over centuries rather than years. Each individual intervention, whether successful or not, serves to establish patterns and precedents that influence future events. Even when specific missions fail, they contribute to a larger atmosphere of fear and uncertainty that makes future ascension attempts more difficult and less likely to succeed. Chapter 6: The Festival of Termina. The Festival of Termina represents the culmination of Rher's sophisticated approach to preventing human ascension, a carefully orchestrated event that demonstrates both his cunning and his understanding of human psychology. Announced in 1942 following the end of the Second Great War, the festival appears to offer participants a chance at transcendence and greatness, but in reality serves as an elaborate trap designed to eliminate multiple threats to the old order simultaneously. The conceptual framework of the Festival of Termina is masterfully deceptive. Rather than presenting itself as a trial or a test, the festival is marketed as an opportunity, a chance for one of the participants to achieve what Pocketcat describes as illustrious reality, and to experience the festival to end all festivals. This framing exploits fundamental human desires for recognition, achievement, and transcendence, drawing in individuals who might otherwise be suspicious of divine intervention in their lives. Rher's selection of participants demonstrates his deep understanding of human potential and divine destiny. He foresaw the arrival of 14 specific individuals to the town of Prehevel, choosing each of them as contestants based on their potential to threaten the old order. These were not random selections, but carefully chosen individuals who possessed various forms of divine potential, special abilities, or connections to cosmic forces that might eventually lead to ascension. The festival's structure as a battle royale serves multiple purposes in Rher's grand design. On the surface level, it ensures that only one participant can survive, automatically eliminating the vast majority of potential threats. However, the deeper purpose lies in the psychological and spiritual corruption that the competition itself generates. By forcing individuals with divine potential to murder each other, the festival ensures that even the survivor is fundamentally changed by the experience, potentially rendering them unsuitable for true divine ascension. The role of moonscorch in the festival cannot be understated. As the event progresses and participants fail to eliminate each other quickly enough, Rher's patience begins to wear thin, and he uses his lunar influence to transform the remaining contestants into monstrous versions of themselves. This moonscorch serves both as punishment for the failure to complete the festival's objectives and as a final failsafe to ensure that no participant can achieve ascension even if they somehow survive the competition. The moonscorch transformations reveal deep truths about the nature of the contestants and, by extension, humanity itself. Rather than creating random monsters, the moonscorch transforms each individual into a form that reflects their inner nature, their deepest desires, and their fundamental character. These transformations serve as a kind of cosmic judgment, stripping away the pretenses of civilization to reveal what Rher believes to be the true, bestial nature of all humans. The specific moon-scorched forms that contestants take often reflect twisted versions of their greatest strengths or most defining characteristics. A doctor might become a medical monstrosity, a soldier might transform into a war machine, and a scholar might become a creature of forbidden knowledge. These transformations demonstrate Rher's argument that human ambition and potential, when taken to their logical extreme, inevitably lead to corruption and monstrosity rather than divine transcendence. The town of Prehevel itself serves as more than just a venue for the festival. It becomes a character in its own right, a place where the boundaries between reality and nightmare begin to blur under Rher's influence. The ordinary citizens of the town are transformed into moon-scorched beings, creating an environment where civilized human society has completely broken down. This transformation of an entire community serves as a microcosm of what Rher believes would happen if humans were granted divine power on a larger scale. The festival's recurring nature adds another layer of sophistication to Rher's plan. This is not a one-time event, but a pattern that has been repeated multiple times throughout history, with each iteration serving to eliminate new generations of potential divine candidates. The systematic nature of these festivals demonstrates Rher's commitment to his cause and his understanding that the war against human ascension must be fought continuously rather than through single decisive actions. However, the revelation that Pocketcat, rather than Rher himself, is the true orchestrator of the recent festivals adds a crucial twist to our understanding of these events. It appears that while the original concept and early iterations of the festival were indeed Rher's creation, more recent versions have been hijacked by other divine forces for their own purposes. This development suggests that even cosmic powers like Rher can be outmaneuvered by entities with their own agendas. The fact that the Rher visible above Prehevel during the festival is merely a trace, a remnant of his former presence rather than the god himself, raises important questions about the nature of divine intervention in the fear and hunger world. It suggests that the old gods, including Rher, have largely withdrawn from direct involvement in mortal affairs, leaving only echoes of their former power to continue their work. This withdrawal might represent a recognition that their cause is ultimately hopeless, or it might indicate a transition to even more subtle forms of influence. The psychological impact of the Festival of Termina extends far beyond its immediate participants. The knowledge that such events occur, that individuals can be selected for cosmic trials without their consent or understanding, creates an atmosphere of helplessness and terror that affects entire populations. This psychological effect serves Rher's purposes by discouraging ambition and divine aspiration among humans who might otherwise seek to challenge the old order. The festival also serves as a testing ground for Rher's understanding of human nature and divine potential. Each iteration provides new data about how humans respond to extreme pressure, how they prioritize their own survival versus moral considerations, and how divine potential manifests under stress. This information allows Rher to refine his future interventions and develop more effective strategies for preventing human ascension. Perhaps most significantly, the Festival of Termina represents the evolution of Rher's methods from direct intervention to systematic manipulation. Rather than relying on individual servants to eliminate specific threats, the festival approach allows Rher to address multiple threats simultaneously while creating the illusion of offering opportunity rather than imposing punishment. This evolution demonstrates both his adaptability and his growing sophistication in the art of cosmic manipulation. Chapter 7: The Green Hue and Otherworldly Origins. The Green Hue represents one of the most mysterious and significant locations in the Fear and Hunger universe, serving as the primordial realm from which certain old gods originate. While not explicitly confirmed as Rher's origin point, understanding this otherworldly dimension provides crucial insight into the alien psychology of cosmic entities and the fundamental differences between old gods and the mortal realm they seek to influence. According to the Lady of Moon, the Green Hue is a realm where one sees the world through a green-looking glass, a place where the older beings originate. This description suggests that the Green Hue is not merely a different location, but an entirely different mode of existence, a plane of reality where perception itself operates according to different rules than those governing the mortal world. The metaphor of the green-looking glass implies that beings from this realm perceive reality through a filter that fundamentally alters their understanding of existence. The Green Hue is confirmed as the original domain of several old gods, specifically Grogoroth and Sylvian. While Rher's connection to this realm is not explicitly stated in the source material, his servant's knowledge of it and the similar alien characteristics he shares with other old gods suggest possible connections to this otherworldly plane. The old gods who definitively originate from the green hue share certain characteristics. They view humanity as fundamentally inferior. They operate according to logic that seems alien to mortal understanding, and they possess powers that transcend normal physical limitations. The nature of existence within the green hue appears to be fundamentally different from mortal reality. The Lady of Moon's description suggests that beings in this realm do not perceive the world directly, but through some form of cosmic filter that alters their understanding of reality. This filtered perception might help explain why old gods seem to operate according to logic that appears incomprehensible to humans and even to new gods. They may not be merely using different reasoning processes, but literally perceiving reality through a different conceptual framework. While we cannot definitively state that this otherworldly origin applies to Rher specifically, his servant's knowledge of the green hue and his alien methods suggest possible connections to similar otherworldly perspectives. If such connections exist, they would have profound implications for understanding Rher's psychology and motivations. His jealous opposition to human ascension might stem from a fundamentally different understanding of what existence means, and how reality should be structured, viewed through the lens of an otherworldly consciousness. The green hue also provides context for the alien nature of old god magic and abilities. Powers that seem impossible or contradictory from a mortal perspective might be perfectly natural when viewed from the altered reality of the green hue. Rher's ability to create servants from his imagination, to influence events across vast distances of time and space, and to transform reality through moonlight, all become more understandable when viewed as expressions of green hue physics rather than violations of mortal natural law. The relationship between the green hue and the mortal world appears to be complex and multifaceted. While the green hue serves as the origin point for old gods, it is not entirely separate from mortal reality. Servants like the Lady of Moon can travel between these realms, and the influence of green hue beings can be felt throughout the mortal world. This suggests that the barrier between these planes of existence is permeable, at least for beings of sufficient power or divine nature. The green hue's influence on Rher's servants is particularly evident in their otherworldly characteristics and abilities. The Lady of Moon's telepathic communication, her ability to heal wounds and recover traumas, and her fundamental disconnect from human mortality all reflect her origin in this alien realm. Similarly, Pocketcat's ability to exist simultaneously as a folkloric figure and a physical entity suggests that beings connected to the green hue operate according to different rules of existence than purely mortal creatures. The filtering effect of the green hue might also explain why old gods seem to have difficulty understanding human motivations and emotions. If they perceive reality through a fundamentally different conceptual framework, then human concepts like individual identity, personal growth, and moral development might appear distorted or meaningless from their perspective. This perceptual barrier could contribute to their view of humans as inferior beings unworthy of divine status. The green hue represents not just a different location, but a different state of being entirely. It embodies the alien nature of cosmic consciousness, the idea that true divine beings operate according to principles that transcend human understanding. For Rher and his fellow old gods, the green hue is not just their home, but the source of their fundamental identity and the foundation of their claim to cosmic authority. Chapter 8: Truth, Madness, and Lunar Revelation. One of the most paradoxical aspects of Rher's nature is his dual role as both a bringer of madness and a revealer of truth. This seeming contradiction lies at the heart of his character and provides crucial insight into the cosmic philosophy that appears to drive his actions throughout the Fear and Hunger series. Understanding this duality requires examining how truth, madness, and divine revelation intersect in this dark fantasy world. Rher's association with madness is well documented throughout the series. In his Skin Bible, he is depicted as a god of the insane and a trickster of madness. All of the moon-touched inhabitants of Prehevel have gone insane under his influence, with only rare exceptions like the woodsman and the mayor maintaining their sanity despite exposure to his power. The moonscorch condition itself appears to represent a form of cosmic madness, transforming victims into creatures that retain fragments of their original consciousness while being driven to homicidal rage. Yet paradoxically, Rher also represents truth in its purest form. His moonlight illuminates those who are touched by its rays, revealing aspects of their nature that they might prefer to keep hidden. The occult book, The Truth Under the Moonlight, explores this theme extensively, examining how Rher's influence strips away masks and facades to reveal the authentic self beneath. This revelatory power seems to be more than merely metaphorical. Engraving Rher's sigil onto one's face literally increases mind, allowing the bearer to know more without going completely insane from the truth they acquire. This paradox of truth-bringing madness appears to reflect a fundamental principle in the Fear and Hunger universe, that ultimate truth may be incompatible with human sanity. The mortal mind, evolved to deal with mundane concerns of survival and social interaction, might not be capable of processing cosmic reality without being fundamentally altered by the experience. Rher's truth may not be false or misleading, but it could be truth on a scale and of a nature that human consciousness cannot integrate without losing what we would recognize as normal mental function. The transformative nature of Rher's truth seems evident in the moonscorch condition. Victims of moonscorch do not become random monsters, but rather transform into forms that appear to reflect their deepest nature, their hidden desires, and their fundamental character. A doctor becomes a medical abomination, a soldier becomes a war machine, and a scholar becomes a creature of forbidden knowledge. These transformations might represent a kind of cosmic honesty, stripping away social roles and conscious self-image to reveal the primal drives that actually motivate behavior. Rher's use of truth as a weapon demonstrates his sophisticated understanding of human psychology. Rather than simply lying to achieve his goals, he offers genuine insight and knowledge, but presents it in forms that are psychologically destructive to those who receive it. This approach is far more effective than simple deception, as it exploits humanity's natural desire for understanding and knowledge while using that very desire against them. The lunar revelation that Rher provides often takes the form of uncomfortable insights about the nature of existence itself. Those touched by his moonlight gain understanding of cosmic hierarchies, divine politics, and the fundamental inequality between old gods and mortal beings. This knowledge is accurate and valuable, but it is also deeply disturbing to minds that have been raised to believe in human dignity, individual worth, and the possibility of personal transcendence. The madness that accompanies Rher's truth might be understood as a defense mechanism, a way for the human mind to cope with information that contradicts its basic assumptions about reality. Rather than accepting the implications of cosmic truth, that humans are insignificant beings in a universe ruled by alien gods who view them as little more than amusing insects, the mind retreats into madness as a form of psychological self-preservation. Rher's approach to truth-telling also reflects his trickster nature. He does not lie outright, but he presents truth in ways that serve his agenda while appearing to benefit those who receive it. The contestant who gains knowledge through Rher's sigil may feel empowered by their increased understanding, but this knowledge also serves to advance Rher's goals by making them more aware of their own cosmic insignificance and the futility of challenging divine authority. The connection between lunar cycles and revelation adds another layer to Rher's truth-bringing role. Just as the moon waxes and wanes, revealing different amounts of its surface over time, Rher's revelations come in phases, gradually exposing more truth as circumstances require. This cyclical approach to revelation allows him to control the pace at which cosmic knowledge is disseminated, ensuring that recipients are overwhelmed gradually rather than all at once. The selective nature of Rher's truth-telling is also significant. While he reveals uncomfortable truths about human nature and cosmic hierarchy, he carefully conceals information about his own plans and motivations. The new gods themselves acknowledge that Rher's motivations seem incomprehensible to them, suggesting that he maintains strict control over what truths he reveals and to whom. This selective revelation serves both to advance his agenda and to maintain his advantage over potential opponents. The ultimate irony of Rher's role as truth revealer is that the truths he reveals, while accurate, are presented in service of a fundamentally conservative agenda. His revelations about human nature and cosmic hierarchy are designed to discourage ambition and maintain the status quo, rather than to promote genuine understanding or growth. In this sense, Rher represents the dangerous seductiveness of certain kinds of truth, the way that accurate information can be used to justify unjust systems and discourage positive change. Chapter 9. The Ancient Conflict with New Gods. The conflict between Rher and the new gods represents one of the central tensions in the Fear and Hunger universe, a cosmic struggle that has shaped the course of history for centuries. This is not merely a disagreement between different divine factions, but a fundamental clash between two incompatible visions of what the universe should be and who has the right to wield divine power within it. From Rher's perspective, the new gods represent an abomination, a corruption of the natural cosmic order that must be corrected before it can spread further. The new gods are humans who have achieved ascension through various means, typically involving the ancient city of Mahabra and its throne of ascension. To Rher, this represents a fundamental violation of cosmic law, as he believes that godhood is an intrinsic quality that cannot be earned or achieved, but must be inherent to one's essential nature from the beginning of existence. The new gods, for their part, view Rher and his fellow old gods with a mixture of wariness, incomprehension, and growing resentment. They acknowledge Rher as a powerful and dangerous opponent, but they cannot fully understand his motivations or methods. When questioned about Rher, the new gods describe him as jealous and unwilling to share godhood with humans, but they admit that his specific plans and reasoning seem incomprehensible to them. This incomprehension reflects the fundamental gap between old god and new god psychology, the vast difference in their origins and nature. The asymmetrical nature of this conflict is one of its most interesting aspects. While Rher wages an active campaign against the new gods, employing servants, orchestrating festivals, and manipulating events to prevent human ascension, the new gods themselves seem largely reactive in their approach. They respond to Rher's attacks and schemes, but they do not appear to mount an organized offensive against him or his interests. This difference in approach reflects their fundamentally different positions in the cosmic hierarchy and their different understandings of what victory would mean. For Rher, victory means the preservation of the old order, the maintenance of a cosmic system where old gods reign supreme and humans remain in their proper subordinate position. This is a conservative goal, seeking to maintain an existing state rather than create something new. His methods reflect this conservative agenda, focusing on prevention and elimination rather than creation or transformation. He seeks to stop change rather than to direct it, to preserve hierarchy rather than to restructure it. The new gods, in contrast, represent change and transformation by their very existence. Their ascension challenges the fundamental assumptions of the old cosmic order, proving that the barriers between mortal and divine are not as absolute as the old gods claim. Even if individual new gods do not actively oppose Rher's agenda, their mere existence serves as an argument against his position and an inspiration for other humans who might seek divine status. The conflict between old and new gods also represents different approaches to the relationship between divine power and moral responsibility. The old gods, including Rher, operate according to their own alien logic and feel no obligation to consider human welfare or desires in their actions. They are cosmic forces of nature, no more concerned with human suffering than a hurricane or earthquake would be. The new gods, having originated as humans themselves, retain some connection to human values and concerns, even if their divine status fundamentally alters their perspective. This difference in moral perspective creates additional tension in the conflict. Rher's servants routinely engage in acts that would be considered horrifically evil by human standards, murdering children, orchestrating mass death, and driving innocents to madness. From Rher's perspective, these actions are not evil but necessary, serving to maintain cosmic order and prevent greater catastrophes. The new gods, while not necessarily opposing these actions directly, represent an alternative moral framework that implicitly challenges this view. The strategic dimensions of the conflict reveal Rher's sophisticated understanding of power dynamics and long-term planning. Rather than engaging the new gods in direct confrontation, where his victory might not be assured, Rher focuses on preventing the creation of additional new gods and limiting the influence of existing ones. This approach demonstrates both his tactical intelligence and his recognition that the new gods, despite their human origins, possess genuine divine power that makes them formidable opponents. The generational aspect of this conflict adds another layer of complexity. Individual new gods may eventually fade or withdraw from active involvement in mortal affairs, but new ones continue to emerge as long as humans retain the potential for ascension. Rher's war is therefore not against specific individuals, but against an ongoing process of human divine evolution. This requires sustained effort over centuries or millennia, demanding the kind of patience and persistence that only immortal beings can provide. The conflict also reveals the limitations of both sides. Despite his power and cunning, Rher has been unable to completely prevent human ascension, as evidenced by the continued emergence of new gods throughout history. Similarly, the new gods, despite their divine status, have been unable to neutralize Rher's influence or protect all potential divine candidates from his interference. This mutual limitation suggests that the conflict might be intended to continue indefinitely, serving some larger cosmic purpose that neither side fully understands. Perhaps most significantly, the conflict between Rher and the new gods represents competing visions of cosmic justice and the proper order of existence. Rher's position, while authoritarian and exclusionary, is based on a coherent philosophy about the nature of divinity and the proper relationship between different types of beings. The new god's position, while more inclusive and optimistic about human potential, challenges traditional hierarchies and established cosmic law. Neither position is clearly superior from an objective standpoint, making the conflict a genuine philosophical disagreement rather than a simple battle between good and evil. Chapter 10. The symbolism and iconography of Rher. The visual and symbolic elements associated with Rher provide crucial insights into his nature and role within the fear and hunger universe. Unlike many deities in fiction who are represented through straightforward religious symbolism, Rher's iconography is deliberately complex and multi-layered, reflecting his dual nature as both truth revealer and madness bringer, cosmic authority and trickster figure. Rher's primary symbol consists of 3 circles, with 2 positioned atop one of them, and within the top right circle lies a horizontal omega symbol adorned with a central dot. This geometric arrangement carries multiple layers of meaning within the context of fear and hunger mythology. The 3 circles may represent different phases of the moon, reflecting Rher's lunar nature and his cyclical influence over mortal affairs. The positioning of 2 circles above the 3rd might symbolize his elevated position relative to earthly concerns. his perspective from the celestial sphere, looking down upon the mortal world. The Omega symbol within the top circle is particularly significant, as Omega traditionally represents endings or completion in many cultural contexts. In Rher's case, this might refer to his role as an agent of cosmic finality, one who seeks to end the process of human ascension and return the universe to its proper state. The central dot within the Omega could represent his all-seeing eye, his constant observation of human affairs from his lunar throne. Alternatively, the dot might symbolize the focused nature of his attention, the way he concentrates his cosmic awareness on specific threats to the old order. The eye symbolism is reinforced by illustrations in Rher's Skin Bible, which suggests that the circle with the dot specifically represents an eye. This visual element connects Rher to themes of surveillance, judgment, and revelation. As the ever-watching God, Rher sees all that transpires in the mortal world, identifying threats and opportunities for intervention. The eye also represents his role as a revealer of hidden truths, one who sees through deceptions and facades to perceive the authentic nature beneath. The overlap between the three circles in Rher's symbol hints at the crescent phases of the moon, connecting his iconography directly to his lunar identity. This overlap might also represent the intersection of different realms of existence, the mortal world, the divine sphere, and the liminal space between them, where Rher exercises much of his influence. The crescent symbolism reinforces themes of change, transformation, and the cyclical nature of cosmic events that characterize Rher's approach to divine intervention. The artistic representation of Rher himself draws heavily from various mythological and religious traditions. His battle artwork, featuring 2 rings of eyes swirling around his form, bears striking similarity to descriptions of the Ophanim or throne's angels from Judeo-Christian tradition. These angels are described as wheels upon wheels, or rings lined with eyes, representing divine omniscience and the all-encompassing nature of cosmic awareness. This visual reference connects Rher to broader traditions of divine imagery, while emphasizing his role as an observer and judge of mortal affairs. The lunar face that Rher presents when observing mortals is reminiscent of the falling moon from the Legend of Zelda. Majora's Mask, a comparison that is noted by multiple sources analyzing his character. This reference is particularly appropriate given the themes of cyclical destruction, inevitable doom, and the helplessness of mortals in the face of cosmic forces that characterize both works. The comparison also emphasizes the alien, unsettling nature of Rher's attention, the way his observation carries implicit threats and suggests impending transformation or destruction. Color symbolism plays an important role in Rher's iconographic system. The green hue associated with his origin realm represents otherworldliness, alien perspective, and the fundamental difference between old god and mortal perception. This green filtering effect suggests that Rher and his servants literally see the world differently than humans do, operating according to altered visual and conceptual frameworks that allow them to perceive truths hidden from normal awareness. The association with darkness and shadow in Rher's imagery reflects both his lunar nature and his role as a revealer of hidden aspects of reality. Darkness traditionally represents the unknown, the feared, and the unconscious, all areas where Rher exercises particular influence. His ability to illuminate these dark spaces through moonlight represents his power to force awareness of uncomfortable truths, to make visible what individuals and societies prefer to keep hidden. The recurring motif of masks in Rher's symbolic system, particularly evident in Pocketcat's iconography, and the themes explored in The Truth Under the Moonlight, represents the fundamental deception that Rher believes characterizes human existence. Humans wear masks to hide their true nature from others and from themselves, creating false identities that obscure their fundamental character. Rher's truth-revealing power strips away these masks, forcing individuals to confront their authentic selves regardless of their comfort with what they discover. The symbolic connection between Rher and various forms of madness is represented through chaotic, swirling patterns and distorted imagery that characterizes moon-scorched beings and other manifestations of his influence. These visual elements suggest the breakdown of normal perception and the intrusion of cosmic awareness into minds that are not equipped to process such information. The madness is not random or meaningless, but follows its own internal logic that reflects Rher's alien perspective on reality. Perhaps most significantly, Rher's iconography consistently emphasizes themes of duality and contradiction. He is simultaneously truth-teller and deceiver, revealer and concealer, helper and destroyer. This duality is reflected in visual elements that can be interpreted multiple ways depending on perspective and context. This symbolic ambiguity mirrors the complexity of Rher's character and his role in the larger narrative, suggesting that simple moral categories are inadequate for understanding cosmic beings and their motivations. The evolution of Rher's symbolic representation across the Fear and Hunger series also reflects changes in his approach and influence over time. While his core iconographic elements remain consistent, their interpretation and emphasis shift based on the specific circumstances of each game. This evolution suggests that Rher himself is not a static entity, but a dynamic force that adapts his methods and presentation based on changing circumstances and the lessons learned from previous interventions. Chapter 11: Moonscorch and the Transformation of Humanity. Moonscorch represents perhaps the most visceral and terrifying manifestation of Rher's power, a condition that demonstrates his fundamental view of human nature and his ability to transform reality itself through cosmic influence. Understanding Moonscorch requires examining not only its physical and psychological effects, but also its symbolic significance within Rher's larger philosophy about humanity's place in the cosmic order. The condition known as moonscorch, also referred to as moonlight cancer in some historical documents, has been recognized as a distinct affliction since at least the 9th century. This long history suggests that Rher's influence on humanity extends far beyond the specific events depicted in the Fear and Hunger games, representing an ongoing cosmic pressure that has shaped human development for over a millennium. The fact that this condition has been documented and studied over such a long period indicates that Rher's interventions in human affairs are neither random nor recent developments. The mechanism of moonscorch infection provides insight into Rher's methods and philosophy. The condition is caused by prolonged exposure to Rher's moonlight, particularly during periods when his attention is focused on specific individuals or locations. This is not a natural disease that spreads through biological vectors, but a supernatural affliction that reflects Rher's direct cosmic influence. The fact that moonscorch is transmitted through exposure to moonlight rather than through contact with infected individuals emphasizes its nature as a form of divine judgment rather than a mere pathological condition. The progression of moonscorch follows a predictable pattern that reveals Rher's understanding of human psychology and physiology. Initial symptoms include severe discolored burns, dry cracking skin, unnatural growths, and scarring. As the condition advances, victims experience more severe warping of their body, beginning with facial features being stretched and contorted. The final stage involves an intolerable sensation of something crawling inside the victim's body before they fully transform into a moon-scorched being. These physical transformations are accompanied by equally dramatic psychological changes. Victims of moonscorch are driven to homicidal madness, attacking perceived outsiders on sight. However, they retain some aspects of their prior allegiances and memories, suggesting that the transformation is not a complete erasure of personality, but rather a radical alteration of priorities and behavior patterns. This retention of partial memory makes moon-scorched beings particularly tragic figures, as they are aware enough to suffer from their transformation while being unable to resist their new violent impulses. The specific forms that moon-scorched beings take reveal Rher's role as a revealer of hidden truths about human nature. Rather than creating random monsters, Moonscorch transforms each individual into a form that reflects their deepest character, their suppressed desires, and their fundamental essence stripped of social conditioning. A doctor obsessed with healing becomes a creature that grotesquely parodies medical practice. A soldier focused on duty and service transforms into a war machine that embodies the destructive potential of military thinking taken to its logical extreme. These transformations serve as Rher's argument about the ultimate nature of humanity. In his view, the civilized personas that humans present to the world are merely masks concealing bestial, selfish, and destructive impulses. Moonscorch strips away these masks, revealing what he believes to be the authentic human character beneath layers of social conditioning and self-deception. The horrific nature of most moon-scorched forms supports his contention that humans are fundamentally unworthy of divine status or cosmic authority. The timing of moonscorch outbreaks is closely connected to Rher's emotional state and level of involvement in mortal affairs. During the Festival of Termina, the rate of transformation accelerates as Rher's patience with the contestants decreases. When participants fail to eliminate each other quickly enough, his growing impatience manifests as increased moonscorch infection rates and more rapid transformation times. This connection between divine emotion and physical reality demonstrates the extent of Rher's power and his direct connection to cosmic forces. The town of Prehevel during the Festival of Termina provides a comprehensive example of moonscorch's societal effects. The entire population, including the occupying Bremen army, succumbs to the condition as punishment for their failure to properly complete the festival. This mass transformation serves multiple purposes. It eliminates potential witnesses to the cosmic events taking place. It demonstrates the consequences of failing to meet Rher's expectations, and it creates an environment where normal social structures and moral constraints no longer apply. The gradual nature of most moonscorch transformations in Prehevel, happening over hours or days, contrasts sharply with the rapid transformations experienced by festival contestants. This difference suggests that Rher calibrates the progression of the condition based on his specific objectives for different groups. The townspeople, who are not direct threats to cosmic order, are transformed slowly as part of a general punishment. The contestants, who represent direct challenges to old god authority, are transformed rapidly when they fail to meet Rher's expectations for mutual elimination. The irreversible nature of moonscorch transformation reflects Rher's finality as a cosmic judge. Unlike other forms of corruption or mental influence that might be healed or reversed through divine intervention, moonscorch represents a permanent alteration of the victim's fundamental nature. This permanence serves as both punishment and warning, demonstrating that challenging cosmic order or failing to meet divine expectations carries consequences that cannot be undone through mortal effort or repentance. The resistance displayed by certain individuals to moonscorch infection provides insight into the qualities that Rher respects or finds useful. Characters like the woodsman and the mayor maintain their sanity despite prolonged exposure to lunar influence, suggesting that certain mental or spiritual qualities provide protection against Rher's transformative power. This resistance might reflect genuine spiritual strength, acceptance of cosmic hierarchy, or simply a fundamental nature that aligns with Rher's vision of proper human behavior. The symbolic significance of moonscorch extends beyond its immediate effects on individual victims. The condition represents Rher's ultimate argument about human nature and divine authority. By demonstrating that exposure to cosmic truth inevitably leads to madness and monstrosity, Moonscorch supports his contention that humans are psychologically and spiritually unsuited for divine status. The condition serves as both punishment for cosmic presumption and evidence supporting the maintenance of traditional divine hierarchy. Perhaps most disturbingly, moonscorch appears to target not just the wicked or ambitious, but ordinary people whose only crime is existing in proximity to cosmic events beyond their understanding or control. This indiscriminate nature of the condition reflects Rher's view that all humans are potentially dangerous to cosmic order, regardless of their individual character or intentions. In his cosmic calculus, human potential itself is a threat that must be contained or eliminated. Chapter 12. The Deception of Perkel and the Sulfur Connection. The revelation that Perkele, ostensibly Rher's most prominent servant during the Festival of Termina, actually serves the sulfur god rather than the moon god himself represents one of the most sophisticated deceptions in the Fear and Hunger series. This betrayal illuminates the complex nature of divine politics and demonstrates that even cosmic entities like Rher can be outmaneuvered by sufficiently cunning opponents. Perkele's introduction as Rher's voice and observer during the Festival of Termina appears straightforward on the surface. He serves as an intermediary between the cosmic moon god and the mortal participants in his festival, explaining the rules and objectives while maintaining the illusion that Rher himself is directly orchestrating events. Perkele's role seems to be that of a herald or prophet, conveying divine will to mortals who cannot directly communicate with cosmic entities. However, the true nature of Perkele's allegiance only becomes apparent near the climax of the Festival of Termina, when he reveals that Rher has long since departed from the world along with the other old gods. The moon visible above Prehevel is not Rher himself, but merely traces of his former presence, cosmic echoes that retain some of his power, but lack his direct consciousness and will. This revelation fundamentally alters our understanding of the festival's true purpose and the forces actually driving its events. The sulfur god, Perkele's true master, represents a far more complex and ambiguous figure than Rher. According to the limited information available, the sulfur god was created by Al-Mir to hold his subconscious, hatred-filled parts, allowing the ascended god to achieve a purer form of divinity. This origin suggests that the sulfur god embodies the darker aspects of divine nature, the suppressed impulses and negative emotions that even new gods must acknowledge and somehow manage. The connection between Al-Mir and the sulfur god raises fascinating questions about the nature of divine psychology and the process of ascension itself. If even successful new gods must split off their negative aspects to achieve true divinity, this suggests that godhood requires a kind of psychological purification that may not be sustainable in the long term. The sulfur god's independent existence and growing influence indicate that these suppressed aspects do not simply disappear, but take on lives of their own, potentially becoming more dangerous than the original impulses they were meant to contain. Perkele's deception demonstrates the sophisticated nature of divine manipulation in the Fear and Hunger universe. Rather than opposing Rher directly, the sulfur god chooses to use the moon god's own methods and reputation to advance his own agenda. By operating under the guise of serving Rher, Perkele can take advantage of the fear and respect that the moon god commands, while actually working toward completely different objectives. This approach allows the sulfur god to benefit from Rher's reputation without having to directly challenge his power or authority. The cult of sulfur that serves under Perkele's leadership represents a new type of religious organization in the Fear and Hunger world. Unlike traditional worshippers of old gods, who serve out of fear or reverence for primordial cosmic forces, or followers of new gods who seek to emulate human divine ascension, the sulfur cultists appear to be motivated by more complex psychological drives. Their service to a god who embodies suppressed negative emotions suggests that they may be individuals who have embraced the darker aspects of their own nature rather than attempting to transcend or suppress them. The fact that Perkele and his cult have successfully hijacked multiple Termina festivals indicates the extent of their influence and the sophistication of their long-term planning. This is not a recent development, but a systematic campaign that has been operating for years or possibly decades. The ability to maintain such a deception while operating under the scrutiny of various divine forces demonstrates both the cunning of the sulfur god and the limitations of even cosmic entities like Rher. The linguistic and cultural background of Perkele's name provides additional insight into his character and role. The name derives from Perkele, a Finnish swear word that originally referred to a thunder god in pre-Christian Baltic and Finnic mythology. This etymology connects Perkele to themes of storm, chaos, and the overthrow of established religious orders. The demonization of the original thunder god by Christian influence parallels Perkele's role in subverting and corrupting Rher's cosmic authority. The revelation of Perkele's true allegiance also raises questions about the nature of divine traces and their susceptibility to manipulation. If the traces of departed old gods can be exploited by other entities for their own purposes, this suggests that the withdrawal of the old gods from active involvement in mortal affairs has created a power vacuum that various forces are attempting to fill. The cosmic order that Rher sought to preserve may be crumbling not through direct human challenge, but through the machinations of other divine entities with their own agendas. Perkele's success in maintaining his deception throughout most of the Festival of Termina demonstrates the limitations of even cosmic perception and divine omniscience. Despite his reputation as an all-seeing observer, Rher apparently failed to detect the sulfur god's infiltration of his own operations. This failure might indicate that the traces he left behind lack the full perceptual capabilities of his complete divine form, or it might suggest that the sulfur god possesses abilities specifically designed to evade old god detection. The psychological profile of Perkele himself reveals the complexity of divine servitude and the potential for servants to develop their own agendas, even while ostensibly serving their master's will. Perkele displays intelligence, cunning, and long-term thinking that goes well beyond simple obedience to divine commands. His ability to maintain such an elaborate deception suggests that he possesses genuine free will and strategic thinking, rather than being merely a puppet of divine influence. The implications of Perkele's betrayal extend far beyond the immediate events of the Festival of Termina. If one of Rher's most trusted servants can be compromised or replaced without his knowledge, this raises questions about the reliability of all divine servants and the security of cosmic operations generally. The incident suggests that the divine realm is far more politically complex and unstable than surface appearances might indicate. Perhaps most significantly, Perkele's deception demonstrates that the cosmic conflict in the Fear and Hunger universe involves far more players than just old gods versus new gods. The Sulfur God represents a third faction with its own agenda, one that is willing to exploit the conflicts between other divine forces to advance its own mysterious objectives. This revelation adds layers of complexity to the cosmic politics of the series, and suggests that future developments may involve even more sophisticated forms of divine manipulation and betrayal. Chapter 13. The Ancient War Against the God of Fear and Hunger. The emergence of the God of Fear and Hunger represents perhaps the greatest defeat in Rher's long campaign against human ascension, a cosmic catastrophe that fundamentally altered the balance of power between old gods and new gods. Understanding this pivotal event requires examining not only the immediate circumstances of the god's birth, but also the long-term planning that both enabled and attempted to prevent this unprecedented ascension. The origins of the god of fear and hunger lie in the complex relationship between the new god Nilvan, who represents humanity's endless potential, and Lagard, a visionary half-god whose ambitions led him to seek divine status through any means necessary. Their union produced a daughter whose divine potential was recognized immediately by cosmic forces across the spectrum of divine politics. This child represented not just another potential new god, but something fundamentally different. A being with the potential to become an ascended god, capable of rivaling the old gods themselves. Rher's recognition of this threat led to one of his most direct and comprehensive interventions in human affairs. Understanding that the child's potential posed an existential threat to the old cosmic order, he dispatched both of his primary servants, Pocketcat and the Lady of Moon, to the dungeon of fear and hunger, with explicit instructions to locate and eliminate the child before she could fulfill her destiny. This represents a significant escalation from Rher's usual methods, indicating his assessment that the situation required immediate and decisive action. The mission's objectives went beyond simple assassination. Rher understood that the child's significance lay not just in her individual potential, but in what her ascension would represent for humanity as a whole. If a being with mixed divine and human heritage could achieve power rivaling the old gods, it would prove that the barriers between mortal and cosmic existence were not as absolute as traditional divine hierarchy claimed. Success would inspire other humans to attempt similar ascensions, potentially leading to a cascade of divine challenges that could overwhelm the old order entirely. The choice of the Dungeon of Fear and Hunger as the location for this confrontation was not coincidental. This ancient fortress prison had been corrupted by supernatural forces, making it a place where the boundaries between different planes of existence were thin and permeable. The presence of the god of the depths within its lowest levels added another layer of cosmic significance to the location. It was here that the fundamental conflict between old and new cosmic orders would be decided through the actions of mortal agents acting on behalf of divine powers. Nilvan's counter-strategy demonstrates the sophisticated political thinking that characterizes successful new gods. Rather than attempting to protect her daughter through direct divine intervention, which might have attracted unwanted attention from other old gods, she chose to work through mortal agents. By ensuring that suitable champions would arrive at the dungeon and be motivated to protect the child, Nilvan created a scenario where her daughter's survival would appear to be the result of mortal heroism rather than divine manipulation. The failure of Rher's assassination mission had consequences that extended far beyond the immediate survival of one child. The successful protection of Nilvan's daughter allowed her to fulfill her cosmic destiny, absorbing aspects of the god of the depths and ascending to become the god of fear and hunger. This ascension represented the first time in cosmic history that a being of mixed divine human heritage had achieved power genuinely comparable to the old gods themselves. The nature of the god of fear and hunger's ascension process provides insight into alternative paths to divinity that exist outside the traditional systems controlled by old gods. Rather than achieving godhood through the throne of ascension in Mahabharata, which was apparently designed by old gods to create controllable new gods, this ascension occurred through a process of cosmic synthesis that combined aspects of multiple divine sources. The child absorbed elements from the defeated god of the depths while retaining her own divine potential, creating something genuinely new in cosmic terms. The immediate aftermath of the god of fear and hunger's birth marked the beginning of what historical sources describe as a new age of cultural and technological development for humanity. This period, known as the Cruel Age, paradoxically represented both humanity's greatest achievement and its darkest hour. The ascension of a god who appeared to truly understand human suffering and potential created unprecedented opportunities for mortal advancement, but it also established precedents that would fundamentally alter the cosmic balance of power. The god of fear and hunger's unique nature as an ascended god, one who rivals the old gods in power while retaining connection to human experience, represents everything that Rher sought to prevent. Unlike traditional new gods, who achieved divinity through established cosmic mechanisms that old gods could potentially influence or control, this new deity represented a completely independent path to cosmic power. Her existence seemed to prove that humans could achieve true divine status through their own efforts and suffering, without requiring permission or assistance from the established cosmic hierarchy. The strategic implications of this defeat appear to have forced Rher to fundamentally reconsider his approach to preventing human ascension. The direct intervention that had served him well in smaller conflicts proved inadequate when facing a cosmic event of this magnitude. The failure demonstrated that relying solely on servants and indirect influence was insufficient to address existential threats to the old order. This recognition would later influence his development of more systematic approaches, such as the Festival of Termina. While the exact details remain unclear, the god of fear and hunger's continued influence on human affairs represents an ongoing challenge to what might be described as Rher's cosmic authority. Unlike other divine beings who might withdraw from mortal concerns after achieving ascension, this god appears to maintain active involvement in human development, providing guidance and assistance to those seeking to overcome suffering and achieve their potential. This active benevolence creates a direct counter-narrative to any message about human unworthiness and cosmic hierarchy. The theological implications of the god of fear and hunger's existence extend beyond immediate political concerns to fundamental questions about the nature of divinity itself. If a being of human origin can achieve power rivaling primordial cosmic entities, this suggests that godhood might be more accessible and less exclusive than traditional divine hierarchy claims. The existence of such a deity provides hope for other humans seeking transcendence while simultaneously challenging the philosophical foundations of old god supremacy. While we can only speculate about Rher's specific response to this defeat, it appears to reveal both his adaptability and his fundamental limitations. While he may have successfully adapted his methods to address the new cosmic reality, developing more sophisticated and systematic approaches to preventing human ascension, he seemingly could not undo the fundamental change that the god of fear and hunger's existence represented. The cosmic order he sought to preserve had already been irreversibly altered, forcing him to fight what appears to be a defensive battle against forces that were no longer entirely under old god control. The long-term consequences of this ancient conflict continue to shape events throughout the Fear and Hunger series. The god of fear and hunger's influence can be seen in the technological and cultural advances that characterize the world of Fear and Hunger 2. Termina, where humanity has achieved levels of development that would have been impossible under pure old god influence. The existence of this benevolent divine force also provides a counterweight to Rher's malevolent influence, creating a cosmic balance that was absent in earlier historical periods. Chapter 14. The Psychology of Cosmic Trickery. Understanding Rher's psychological makeup requires moving beyond simple characterizations of evil or jealousy to examine the complex mental processes that drive a cosmic entity whose existence spans millennia and whose perspective encompasses realities beyond human comprehension. Rher's psychology represents the intersection of primordial consciousness, cosmic responsibility, and the burden of eternal vigilance against forces he sees as fundamentally threatening to universal order. The trickster aspect of Rher's nature deserves particular attention, as it represents more than simple deception or manipulation. In mythological traditions across human cultures, trickster figures serve important cosmic functions, often acting as agents of change, challengers of authority, and revealers of hidden truths. However, Rher subverts this traditional role by using trickster methods to preserve rather than challenge established order. His tricks and deceptions serve conservative rather than revolutionary purposes, making him a unique figure in the broader tradition of trickster mythology. Rher's approach to deception demonstrates sophisticated understanding of psychology and social dynamics. Rather than relying on obvious lies or crude manipulation, he presents authentic truths in contexts that serve his agenda while appearing to benefit those who receive them. This approach exploits fundamental human psychological vulnerabilities: the desire for knowledge, the need for meaning, and the hope for transcendence. By offering genuine insights wrapped in ultimately destructive packages, Rher ensures that his victims participate willingly in their own downfall. The cosmic perspective that appears to shape Rher's psychology creates fundamental disconnects between his understanding and mortal comprehension. From his viewpoint as an eternal, primordial entity, individual human lives and concerns might appear insignificant compared to larger patterns of cosmic evolution and divine politics. This perspective could allow him to make decisions that seem monstrously cruel from human standpoints, while viewing them as necessary and even merciful from cosmic perspectives. The elimination of potential divine candidates might prevent larger catastrophes that mortals cannot foresee or understand. Rher's jealousy, while a defining characteristic, appears to operate on levels that transcend normal emotional categories. This does not seem to be the petty jealousy of an individual concerned with personal status or recognition, but a cosmic emotion tied to fundamental beliefs about the nature of existence and the proper ordering of reality. His jealousy might represent a form of conservative cosmic conviction, a fierce devotion to preserving what he perceives as the natural and proper structure of universal hierarchy. The isolation that characterizes Rher's existence provides crucial context for understanding his psychological state. As one of the last old gods still actively observing humanity, he bears what appears to be sole responsibility for maintaining cosmic order in the face of increasingly sophisticated human challenges. This isolation seems to be both self-imposed, resulting from his unwillingness to withdraw from mortal affairs like his fellow old gods, and externally imposed, as his methods and motivations remain incomprehensible even to other divine beings. The burden of eternal vigilance appears to shape every aspect of Rher's psychological profile. Unlike mortals, who can abandon failed projects or redirect their efforts toward new goals, Rher's cosmic nature might compel him to continue his mission regardless of setbacks or apparent futility. This could create a psychological trap where success becomes impossible to achieve, while failure remains unacceptable to contemplate. The resulting tension seems to manifest in increasingly desperate and sophisticated schemes that reflect both his growing frustration and his unwillingness to abandon his fundamental mission. Rher's relationship with truth reveals the complexity of his psychological makeup. His role as both truth revealer and deceiver creates internal contradictions that would be psychologically devastating for mortal minds, but seem to coexist within his cosmic consciousness. This ability to simultaneously embody contradictory aspects might be a fundamental characteristic of cosmic entities, or it might represent a form of divine madness that results from attempting to maintain impossible positions over cosmic timescales. The patience that Rher demonstrates in his long-term planning contrasts sharply with the violence and immediacy of his interventions when they finally occur. This pattern suggests a psychological profile characterized by long periods of careful observation and analysis, followed by sudden, decisive action when circumstances require intervention. This combination of patience and decisiveness reflects both his cosmic nature and his understanding that cosmic conflicts unfold over timescales that dwarf mortal comprehension. Rher's apparent inability to understand or predict human emotional responses, despite his sophisticated manipulation of human behavior, reveals important limitations in his psychological makeup. While he can accurately predict how humans will respond to specific incentives or pressures, he seems genuinely confused by concepts like heroism, self-sacrifice, and moral growth that transcend simple self-interest. This limitation suggests that his cosmic consciousness, while vastly superior to human awareness in many ways, lacks certain qualities that might be essential for truly understanding mortal psychology. The evolution of Rher's methods over time demonstrates psychological adaptability that contradicts stereotypes about cosmic entities being static or unchanging. His willingness to develop new approaches when old ones prove inadequate suggests a form of cosmic learning, an ability to analyze failures and develop improved strategies based on experience. This adaptability makes him a more formidable opponent than he would be if he simply repeated the same approaches regardless of their effectiveness. Perhaps most significantly, Rher's psychology reflects the fundamental tragedy of cosmic consciousness. The burden of vast awareness, coupled with the inability to achieve desired outcomes through direct action. His cosmic perspective allows him to see patterns and consequences that remain hidden from mortal perception. But this same perspective isolates him from the immediate emotional realities that drive human behavior. He understands the cosmic significance of events, while remaining fundamentally alien to the personal meaning that those same events hold for the individuals involved. Chapter 15: The Termina Festival as Cosmic Theatre. The Festival of Termina represents more than a simple death game or elimination contest. It functions as a form of cosmic theatre, where Rher stages elaborate performances designed to demonstrate his fundamental arguments about human nature and divine hierarchy. Understanding the festival's theatrical dimensions reveals the sophisticated psychological and philosophical framework underlying what might otherwise appear to be arbitrary violence or sadistic entertainment. The setting of Prehevel itself serves as a carefully constructed stage for Rher's cosmic drama. This small town, with its ordinary citizens and familiar social structures, represents a microcosm of human civilization. By choosing such a mundane location for his grand experiment, Rher ensures that the festival's events will have maximum psychological impact on both participants and observers. The transformation of familiar, comfortable surroundings into a nightmare landscape of moon-scorched horrors serves to demonstrate the fragility of human civilization and the thin line separating order from chaos. The selection of festival participants functions as a form of cosmic casting, with each contestant chosen to represent different aspects of human potential and ambition. The 14 individuals who arrive in Prehevel are not random victims, but carefully selected representatives of humanity's diverse approaches to confronting adversity and pursuing transcendence. Their varied backgrounds, skills, and motivations ensure that the festival will explore multiple dimensions of human character, while providing comprehensive evidence for Rher's arguments about mortal nature. The festival's structure as a battle royale serves multiple theatrical purposes beyond simple elimination of threats. The format forces participants to confront fundamental moral questions about survival, cooperation, and the value of human life. By creating circumstances where helping others conflicts with personal survival, the festival tests whether human claims to moral superiority can withstand extreme pressure. The results, from Rher's perspective, consistently demonstrate that humans will abandon their professed values when faced with genuine existential threats. The gradual revelation of the festival's true nature functions as a form of cosmic, dramatic irony. Participants begin with hopes of achieving greatness or transcendence, believing they have been chosen for honor rather than elimination. The slow realization that they are actually victims in an elaborate trap mirrors the broader human condition as Rher sees it. Mortals consistently overestimate their own importance and capabilities, pursuing divine ambitions while remaining blind to their fundamental limitations and the cosmic forces arrayed against them. The moonscorch transformations that occur throughout the festival serve as a form of cosmic critique, with each transformed contestant becoming a living demonstration of Rher's arguments about human nature. The specific forms that these transformations take are not random, but carefully tailored to reveal what Rher perceives as the essential character beneath social conditioning and conscious self-image. A doctor becomes a medical abomination, revealing the potential for healing arts to become instruments of torture. A soldier transforms into a war machine, demonstrating how protective instincts can evolve into instruments of indiscriminate destruction. The theatrical aspects of the festival extend to its audience as well as its performers. While the immediate participants in Prehevel experience the events directly, the festival's effects ripple outward to influence broader human consciousness. Stories of the festival's horrors serve as cautionary tales that discourage ambition and divine aspiration among populations who never directly witness the events. This extended audience makes the festival a form of cosmic propaganda designed to shape human behavior on a civilizational scale. The role of choice within the festival's structure reveals Rher's sophisticated understanding of moral psychology and the importance of agency in cosmic judgment. Participants are not simply victims of circumstance, but active agents who must make repeated moral choices under extreme pressure. The festival tests not just their survival abilities, but their commitment to their professed values and their willingness to maintain humanity in the face of dehumanizing circumstances. The cyclical nature of the festival, repeated across multiple time periods, transforms it from a single event into an ongoing cosmic ritual. Each iteration serves both to eliminate new generations of potential divine candidates and to reinforce the psychological and cultural lessons of previous festivals. This repetition creates a sense of cosmic inevitability, suggesting that human attempts at transcendence will always ultimately fail when confronted with the realities of cosmic power and divine judgment. The festival's climax, involving direct confrontation with Rher himself or his traces, represents the ultimate theatrical moment where human ambition directly confronts cosmic authority. This encounter serves multiple dramatic purposes. It provides a final test of human worthiness, demonstrates the vast gulf between mortal and divine power, and offers Rher an opportunity to deliver his ultimate judgment on human pretensions to godhood. The fact that even successful contestants are fundamentally changed by this encounter reinforces his arguments about the transformative and ultimately destructive nature of cosmic contact. The aftermath of each festival extends its theatrical impact beyond the immediate events. Survivors carry psychological scars and cosmic knowledge that influence their future actions and decisions. Their experiences become part of the broader human understanding of cosmic realities, adding to the accumulated wisdom about the dangers of pursuing divine ambitions. Even apparent victories against Rher's agenda serve his larger purposes by demonstrating the costs and consequences of challenging cosmic authority. The meta-theatrical elements of the festival, particularly evident in Pocketcat's references to storytelling and narrative influence, suggest that Rher understands the power of narrative itself as a tool for shaping reality. By embedding his lessons within compelling dramatic frameworks, he ensures that his message reaches audiences far beyond the immediate participants. The festival becomes a story that tells itself, propagating Rher's cosmic philosophy through the natural human tendency to share and retell dramatic narratives. Perhaps most significantly, the Festival of Termina represents Rher's attempt to create a form of cosmic art that combines entertainment, education, and judgment into a single powerful experience. Like the greatest theatrical works in human culture, the festival operates on multiple levels simultaneously, providing surface entertainment while conveying deeper philosophical and moral messages. The difference is that Rher's theatrical vision involves real death, genuine transformation, and permanent consequences that extend far beyond the boundaries of any conventional stage. Chapter 16. The Withdrawal of the Old Gods. The revelation that Rher, like his fellow old gods, has actually departed from the world adds a profound layer of tragedy and complexity to his story. This withdrawal represents not just a tactical retreat, but a fundamental acknowledgement that the cosmic order he sought to preserve has already been irreversibly altered. Understanding the implications of this departure requires examining both its immediate practical effects and its deeper significance for the ongoing conflict between old and new cosmic powers. The departure of the old gods appears to have been a collective decision rather than an individual choice by each deity. Sources suggest that beings like Grogoroth and Sylvian withdrew from active involvement in mortal affairs due to their disgust with humanity's selfishness and ambition toward usurping divine positions. they came to understand that humans would never love Sylvian the way she loved them, and would never properly appreciate the purity and beauty of the ideas that the old gods represented. This recognition led to a cosmic disillusionment that ultimately drove the primordial deities to abandon their traditional roles. For Rher, this collective withdrawal presented a particular dilemma. While his fellow old gods could retreat from mortal affairs with their essential nature intact, Rher's role as guardian of cosmic hierarchy required continued vigilance against human ascension attempts. His departure represents not just a strategic retreat, but a fundamental failure of his cosmic mission. By leaving the world, he effectively acknowledges that his cause has become hopeless, and that the old order he sought to preserve is beyond salvation. The traces that Rher left behind serve as both practical tools and symbolic representations of his continued influence, despite physical absence. These traces retain enough of his power to continue affecting mortal affairs, creating moonscorch, influencing events, and serving as focal points for his remaining servants. However, they lack the full consciousness and adaptive intelligence of the complete deity, making them vulnerable to manipulation by other cosmic forces with their own agendas. The exploitation of Rher's traces by Perkeel and the Sulphur God demonstrates the dangers inherent in divine withdrawal. By abandoning direct control over his cosmic assets, Rher created opportunities for other entities to appropriate his power and reputation for their own purposes. The Festival of Termina, which should have served Rher's anti-ascension agenda, instead becomes a tool for advancing the Sulphur God's mysterious objectives. This represents a form of cosmic identity theft that has profound implications for understanding divine power and its limitations. The psychological impact of the old god's withdrawal on mortal populations cannot be understated. For countless generations, humans had lived under the direct influence and occasional intervention of primordial cosmic powers. The sudden absence of these beings creates a spiritual vacuum that various forces rush to fill. New gods, ascended beings, and entities like the Sulphur God all compete to establish themselves as the new cosmic authorities, leading to increased instability and uncertainty in divine matters. The timing of the old god's departure, occurring sometime before the events of Fear and Hunger, 2:2. Termina suggests that the cosmic order underwent a fundamental transformation during the period between the two games. This transition represents a cosmic adolescence for humanity, a period where mortals must learn to navigate divine politics without the overwhelming presence of primordial authorities. The increased prominence of new gods and ascended beings during this period reflects humanity's growing cosmic sophistication and independence. Rher's withdrawal also reveals the limitations of cosmic consciousness and divine omniscience. Despite his reputation as an all-seeing observer and master manipulator, he apparently failed to foresee or prevent the exploitation of his traces by hostile forces. This failure suggests that even cosmic entities operate with incomplete information and can be surprised by sufficiently clever opponents. The cosmic realm appears to be far more politically complex and unpredictable than divine mythology typically suggests. The question of whether Rher's departure represents genuine defeat or merely a tactical repositioning remains open to interpretation. Some sources suggest that the apparent failure of his plans might actually be part of a larger stratagem that mortals cannot comprehend. Given his reputation as a trickster and master manipulator, it is possible that even his withdrawal serves purposes that are not immediately apparent to observers. This ambiguity maintains the sense of cosmic uncertainty that characterizes the Fear and Hunger universe. The continued influence of Rher's traces suggests that divine withdrawal is not as complete or final as it might initially appear. These remnants of cosmic power continue to affect mortal affairs, creating moonscorch, influencing behavior, and serving as conduits for otherworldly forces. This persistence indicates that cosmic entities may not be capable of complete withdrawal from reality, leaving behind indelible marks that continue to shape events long after their conscious influence has ended. The emergence of new cosmic players during the period following the old gods' withdrawal demonstrates the dynamic nature of divine hierarchy. The sulfur god's ability to manipulate Rher's traces and appropriate his festivals suggests that cosmic power is more fluid and transferable than traditional divine mythology suggests. This fluidity creates opportunities for ambitious entities to expand their influence, while also creating vulnerabilities that can be exploited by clever opponents. The withdrawal of the old gods also raises questions about the ultimate fate of cosmic entities and the possibility of divine mortality or transformation. If beings who were once considered eternal and unchanging can withdraw from reality, this suggests that even cosmic consciousness may be subject to forms of evolution, decay, or voluntary transformation that challenge traditional assumptions about divine permanence. The old god's departure might represent not just tactical retreat, but fundamental changes in their nature and capabilities. Perhaps most significantly, the withdrawal of the old gods, including Rher, creates space for humanity to develop its own cosmic consciousness and divine capabilities without constant interference from primordial authorities. This represents both opportunity and danger, as humans must learn to navigate cosmic realities without the guidance, however malevolent, that old god presence provided. The results of this cosmic independence remain to be seen, but they will likely determine the future trajectory of divine evolution in the Fear and Hunger universe. Chapter 17. The Truth Under the Moonlight. The occult text, known as The Truth Under the Moonlight, represents one of the most significant sources of information about Rher's philosophy and methods, providing insight into his role as a revealer of hidden truths and his sophisticated understanding of human psychology. This work, found within Rher's Skin Bible, explores themes that go to the heart of his cosmic mission and reveal the intellectual framework underlying his opposition to human divine ascension. The central theme of The Truth Under the Moonlight concerns the ineffectiveness of masks and facades when confronted with lunar revelation. The text examines how individuals attempt to hide their true nature under constructed public images, using various forms of deception to control how others perceive them. However, the moon's light strips away these illusions, revealing the authentic self that exists beneath layers of social conditioning and conscious self-deception. This revelation is presented not as a blessing, but as a form of cosmic judgment that few can withstand without psychological damage. The metaphor of masks serves multiple functions within Rher's philosophical framework. On the most basic level, masks represent the conscious lies that individuals tell about themselves, the deliberate distortions of character designed to gain social advantage or avoid uncomfortable truths. However, the text suggests that masks also represent unconscious self-deceptions, the ways in which individuals convince themselves that they are better, more moral, or more worthy than their actions actually demonstrate. Rher's moonlight serves as the ultimate test of authenticity, a cosmic force that cannot be fooled by human deception regardless of its sophistication. This places Rher in the role of cosmic judge, one who sees through all pretense to perceive the essential character beneath. The text suggests that this revelation is inevitable for all who come under lunar influence, making it impossible to maintain false identities when exposed to Rher's direct attention. The psychological effects of lunar revelation are described in terms that suggest profound trauma and disorientation. Individuals who experience the stripping away of their masks often find themselves unable to cope with the authentic selves that are revealed. This creates a form of cosmic identity crisis, where the gap between perceived self and actual self becomes too large to bridge through normal psychological processes. The resulting madness represents not just mental illness, but a fundamental breakdown of the individual's ability to maintain coherent self-concept. The text also explores the relationship between truth and madness, suggesting that cosmic truth is inherently incompatible with human psychological stability. This is not presented as a flaw in Rher's methods, but as evidence supporting his arguments about human unsuitability for divine status. If mortals cannot handle basic cosmic truths about their own nature without suffering psychological breakdown, how can they possibly be trusted with the vast cosmic knowledge and responsibility that divine status entails? The selective nature of Rher's truth-telling receives particular attention in the text. While his moonlight reveals hidden aspects of human character, it does not provide complete cosmic knowledge or understanding. Rher carefully controls what truths are revealed and when, ensuring that the information serves his agenda while maintaining his advantage over those who receive it. This selective revelation demonstrates his sophisticated understanding of information as a weapon and his strategic approach to cosmic manipulation. The text's examination of public image control reveals Rher's deep understanding of human social psychology and the role that reputation plays in maintaining power structures. By destroying individuals' ability to control their public image, lunar revelation undermines their social position and effectiveness as potential leaders or divine candidates. This represents a form of character assassination that is far more devastating than physical elimination, as it destroys not just the individual, but their ability to inspire or lead others. The connection between lunar revelation and cosmic justice is explored through examples of individuals whose hidden crimes or moral failures are exposed through Rher's influence. The text presents these revelations as a form of cosmic law enforcement, suggesting that Rher serves as an agent of universal justice who ensures that evil cannot remain hidden indefinitely. This framework positions his apparently cruel methods as necessary tools for maintaining cosmic moral order. The temporal aspects of lunar revelation add another layer of complexity to the text's themes. Whereas truth-telling is not limited to present circumstances, but can reveal hidden connections to past events and future consequences. This cosmic perspective allows him to expose hypocrisy and self-deception that might not be apparent to observers limited to normal temporal perception. The revelation of these hidden connections often destroys individuals' cherished beliefs about their own moral worth and cosmic significance. The text also addresses the addictive nature of cosmic truth, describing how individuals who have experienced lunar revelation often become obsessed with seeking additional knowledge despite the psychological damage it causes. This addiction represents a form of cosmic dependency that Rher can exploit to manipulate behavior and ensure continued influence over his subjects. The promise of additional revelation becomes a powerful tool for controlling those who have already been exposed to his truth-telling power. The philosophical implications of the truth under the moonlight extend beyond individual psychology to encompass broader questions about the nature of reality and cosmic order. If human identity is largely based on illusion and self-deception, as the text suggests, then human claims to moral authority and divine worthiness become highly questionable. This supports Rher's fundamental argument that mortals are unsuited for cosmic responsibility and should remain in their proper subordinate position. Perhaps most significantly, the text reveals the tragic nature of Rher's cosmic mission. While his truth-telling serves his agenda of preventing human ascension, it also creates genuine suffering and psychological damage that he seems to recognize as unfortunate but necessary. This suggests that Rher himself may be trapped by cosmic necessity, compelled to cause suffering in service of what he believes to be greater cosmic good. The text thus presents him not as a simple villain, but as a tragic figure caught between competing cosmic imperatives. Chapter 18. The symbolism of eyes and cosmic observation. The recurring motif of eyes throughout Rher's iconography and methods reveals the fundamental importance of observation, surveillance, and cosmic awareness in his character and mission. Understanding this symbolism requires examining not only the visual elements associated with Rher, but also the philosophical and practical implications of his role as the eternal observer of human affairs. Rher's primary symbol incorporates eye imagery through the circle with a central dot, which his skin Bible illustrations specifically identify as representing an eye. This visual element connects him to traditions of divine omniscience found across many mythological systems, where all-seeing eyes represent cosmic awareness and the inability to hide from divine judgment. However, Rher's eye symbolism carries darker implications than traditional divine omniscience, suggesting surveillance as a prelude to judgment and intervention rather than benevolent guidance or protection. The most striking manifestation of eye symbolism in Rher's visual representation appears in his battle artwork, which features two rings of eyes swirling around his form. This imagery draws explicitly from descriptions of the Ophanim or thrones angels from Judeo-Christian tradition, described as wheels upon wheels or rings lined with eyes. This reference connects Rher to broader traditions of cosmic entities, whose very existence represents pure observation and awareness, beings whose primary function is to see and understand rather than to act directly. The multiplication of eyes in Rher's imagery suggests not just enhanced vision, but fundamentally different modes of perception than those available to mortal beings. Where humans possess two eyes that provide limited perspective and depth perception, Rher's cosmic consciousness operates through countless sensory inputs that allow him to perceive reality from multiple angles simultaneously. This enhanced perception enables him to see patterns, connections, and consequences that remain invisible to beings limited to single perspective awareness. The positioning of eyes around Rher's form, rather than within a traditional head or face structure, indicates that his observational capabilities transcend normal biological limitations. These eyes are not organs in the traditional sense, but manifestations of cosmic consciousness that can be directed anywhere within reality without physical constraints. This unlimited observational range makes it theoretically impossible to hide from Rher's attention, creating a sense of inescapable cosmic surveillance that permeates all mortal activity. The psychological impact of being observed by cosmic entities cannot be understated in understanding Rher's methods. The knowledge that one is being watched by an all-seeing divine consciousness creates profound psychological pressure that affects behavior even when no direct intervention occurs. This passive form of control represents one of Rher's most effective tools, as the mere possibility of cosmic observation serves to discourage behavior that might threaten the old order while encouraging conformity to traditional hierarchical structures. The selective nature of Rher's observation adds complexity to his eye symbolism. While his cosmic consciousness theoretically allows him to observe all events simultaneously, his attention appears to focus on specific individuals and situations that relate to his mission of preventing human ascension. This selective attention suggests that even cosmic awareness has limitations, and that divine consciousness must prioritize certain concerns over others based on their cosmic significance. The transformative power of being seen by Rher represents another crucial aspect of his eye symbolism. Unlike passive observation that merely records events without affecting them, Rher's cosmic vision actively transforms those who come under his direct attention. The moonscorch condition can be understood as a consequence of being truly seen by cosmic consciousness, with the resulting transformations representing the authentic nature that Rher's vision reveals beneath surface appearances. The relationship between observation and truth-telling in Rher's methodology reveals the sophisticated nature of his cosmic vision. His eyes do not merely see what exists in the present moment, but perceive the hidden connections, past influences, and future consequences that link events across time and space. This temporal dimension of his observation allows him to understand individual actions within broader cosmic contexts that remain invisible to beings limited to normal temporal perception. The fear that Rher's observation generates in mortals reflects deep psychological anxieties about being truly known and understood. Most humans maintain their psychological stability through various forms of self-deception and selective attention that allow them to ignore uncomfortable truths about their own nature and motivations. Rher's cosmic vision threatens this psychological defense system by seeing through all forms of self-deception to perceive the authentic self beneath layers of rationalization and social conditioning. The connection between Rher's eye symbolism and his role as a cosmic judge becomes apparent in the consistent association between being seen by him and experiencing transformation or punishment. His observation is not neutral but carries implicit judgment about the worthiness of those who come under his attention. This judgmental aspect of his vision transforms observation from a passive activity into an active form of cosmic law enforcement that maintains divine hierarchy through the mere threat of being truly seen. The multiplicity of Rher's eyes also suggests the fragmented nature of cosmic consciousness and the challenge of maintaining unified perspective across vast scales of space and time. Each eye might represent a different aspect of his awareness, focusing on different dimensions of reality or different categories of cosmic concern. This fragmentation could explain some of the apparent contradictions in his behavior and the difficulty that other beings have in understanding his complete motivations and methods. The protective function that Rher's observation serves for the cosmic order becomes apparent when examining how his surveillance prevents or disrupts attempts at unauthorized divine ascension. By maintaining constant watch over potential threats to old god authority, his eyes serve as an early warning system that allows for timely intervention before human ambitions can achieve dangerous levels of development. This preventive observation represents a more efficient use of cosmic resources than waiting to address threats after they have fully materialized. Perhaps most significantly, Rher's eye symbolism represents the burden of cosmic responsibility and the isolation that comes with ultimate awareness. His countless eyes see all the suffering, injustice, and tragedy that characterize mortal existence, but his cosmic nature prevents him from addressing these problems through direct benevolent intervention. Instead, he must maintain his focus on larger cosmic patterns and longer-term consequences, watching immediate suffering unfold in service of what he believes to be greater cosmic good. This burden of seeing without being able to help represents one of the most tragic aspects of his cosmic existence. Chapter 19. The Legacy of Fear and Cosmic Influence. The long-term impact of Rher's activities extends far beyond the immediate events depicted in the Fear and Hunger Games, creating a legacy of cosmic influence that continues to shape human consciousness and divine politics across generations. Understanding this legacy requires examining not only the direct consequences of his interventions, but also the subtle ways in which his cosmic presence has altered the fundamental nature of human existence and divine interaction. The psychological legacy of Rher's influence manifests in the deep-seated fear of cosmic attention that characterizes human culture throughout the Fear and Hunger universe. Knowledge of the Festival of Termina, stories of moonscorch, and folklore surrounding Pocketcat and other servants create an atmosphere of cosmic paranoia that affects entire populations. This fear serves Rher's purposes by discouraging ambition and divine aspiration while encouraging acceptance of traditional hierarchical structures. The technological and cultural stagnation that characterizes many periods of human history in the Fear and Hunger world can be partially attributed to Rher's systematic elimination of individuals with exceptional potential. By targeting children and young people who might otherwise grow up to become innovators, leaders, or divine candidates, his interventions create gaps in human development that prevent civilizations from achieving their full potential. This represents a form of cosmic brain drain that keeps humanity in a permanently subordinate position relative to divine forces. The religious and philosophical systems that develop in response to Rher's influence often incorporate themes of cosmic helplessness and human unworthiness that serve his agenda even when they do not explicitly worship him. The widespread acceptance of divine hierarchy, the fear of cosmic judgment, and the belief that humans should not aspire to divine status all reflect his successful manipulation of human consciousness over cosmic timescales. These beliefs become self-reinforcing cultural patterns that persist even when direct cosmic intervention is not immediately apparent. The evolutionary pressure that Rher's interventions place on human divine development forces those who successfully achieve ascension to become more sophisticated, cunning, and powerful than they might otherwise need to be. The god of fear and hunger's unique nature and capabilities can be partially attributed to the cosmic adversity that shaped her development. This creates an ironic situation where Rher's opposition to human ascension actually contributes to the evolution of more formidable divine beings when his interventions ultimately fail. The cosmic precedents established by Rher's methods influence how other divine entities approach mortal affairs and cosmic politics. His sophisticated use of servants, long-term planning, and indirect manipulation sets standards for divine intervention that other cosmic beings must either match or exceed to remain competitive. This escalation of cosmic sophistication has profound implications for the future of divine mortal relationships and the stability of cosmic order generally. The moral and ethical questions raised by Rher's actions continue to influence philosophical discourse about divine authority and cosmic justice throughout the fear and hunger universe. His willingness to sacrifice individual welfare for larger cosmic purposes raises fundamental questions about whether ends can justify means on cosmic scales, and whether beings with vast power have corresponding responsibilities to use that power benevolently. These questions remain relevant long after his specific interventions have ended. The artistic and cultural expressions inspired by encounters with Rher and his influence create a body of human creative work that preserves and transmits cosmic knowledge across generations. The skin Bibles, folklore about Pocketcat, and artistic representations of moonscorch all serve to maintain cultural memory of cosmic realities that might otherwise be forgotten or dismissed as mythology. This cultural preservation ensures that future generations remain aware of cosmic dangers while also providing inspiration for those who might seek to challenge divine authority. The scientific and magical knowledge that emerges from studying Rher's influence and methods contributes to human understanding of cosmic forces and divine mechanics. Researchers who survive encounters with moonscorch, scholars who analyze the Festival of Termina, and individuals who successfully resist cosmic manipulation all contribute to a growing body of human knowledge about divine politics and cosmic reality. This knowledge accumulation represents a form of technological and intellectual development that occurs despite Rher's efforts to prevent human advancement. The political implications of Rher's legacy extend to questions about sovereignty, authority, and the right of cosmic entities to intervene in mortal affairs without consent. His actions raise fundamental questions about cosmic law and the existence of higher authorities that might regulate divine behavior. The absence of effective cosmic law enforcement creates situations where powerful entities can act with impunity, leading to instability and suffering that affects entire civilizations. The spiritual development that occurs in response to Rher's influence often takes forms that he did not anticipate or intend. Rather than simply accepting cosmic hierarchy and abandoning divine ambitions, some individuals develop forms of spiritual resilience and cosmic awareness that actually enhance their potential for divine ascension. The adversity created by his interventions serves as a form of cosmic selection pressure that identifies and strengthens those humans who possess genuine divine potential, while eliminating those who lack the psychological and spiritual resources necessary for cosmic responsibility. The generational trauma created by Rher's systematic interventions becomes embedded in human cultural DNA, creating patterns of behavior and belief that persist long after the immediate causes have been forgotten. Families and communities that have experienced cosmic intervention develop heightened awareness of divine politics and increased caution about displaying exceptional abilities or ambitions. This cultural adaptation serves Rher's purposes by encouraging self-censorship and voluntary limitation of human potential. The inspiration that Rher's opposition provides for human resistance movements and revolutionary thinking represents one of the most unexpected aspects of his legacy. Rather than simply intimidating humans into submission, his cosmic tyranny creates martyrs, heroes, and symbols of resistance that inspire future generations to continue challenging divine authority. The very extremity of his methods generates moral outrage that motivates individuals to risk everything in pursuit of cosmic justice and human liberation. The technological innovations that emerge from attempts to defend against or counter Rher's influence contribute to human advancement in ways that serve long-term human interests, despite his opposition. Protective rituals, detection methods for cosmic influence, and defensive measures against moonscorch all represent forms of human innovation that might not have developed without the pressure created by his cosmic threat. These developments contribute to humanity's growing sophistication in cosmic matters and their ability to navigate divine politics independently. The literary and historical records that document Rher's activities serve as crucial sources of information for future generations seeking to understand cosmic reality and divine politics. These records provide warnings about cosmic dangers, while also offering insights into divine psychology and methods that can be used to predict and counter future interventions. The preservation of this knowledge represents a form of cosmic intelligence gathering that enhances human strategic capabilities in divine conflicts. Perhaps most significantly, Rher's legacy demonstrates both the power and the limitations of cosmic authority when confronted with determined human resistance and divine complexity. Despite his vast resources, sophisticated methods, and cosmic perspective, he ultimately fails to achieve his fundamental objective of preventing human divine ascension. This failure provides hope for future human development, while also revealing the vulnerabilities and limitations that even cosmic entities possess when operating in complex political environments. Chapter 20: The Final Confrontation and Cosmic Resolution. The climactic encounter between the protagonist and Rher at the conclusion of Fear and Hunger 2. Termina represents more than a simple boss battle. It serves as the ultimate test of human worthiness and the final demonstration of the cosmic themes that drive the entire series. Understanding this confrontation requires examining not only its immediate mechanical and narrative elements, but also its symbolic significance as a resolution to the fundamental cosmic conflict between old divine authority and human aspiration. The circumstances that lead to this confrontation are carefully orchestrated to represent the complete failure of all previous attempts to resolve the cosmic conflict through indirect means. By the time the protagonist reaches the top of the tower and faces Rher directly, all other contestants have been eliminated, all servant intermediaries have been revealed as inadequate or compromised, and all systematic approaches to preventing human ascension have proven insufficient. This final encounter represents Rher's last resort, a direct application of cosmic power when all subtle methods have failed. The revelation that the Rher encountered is merely a trace of the departed god rather than his complete divine essence adds profound complexity to the confrontation's meaning. This is not a battle between human and divine at full power, but an encounter with the lingering echoes of cosmic authority that persist even after the original consciousness has withdrawn from reality. The trace possesses enough power to represent a genuine threat, while lacking the complete awareness and adaptability of the original entity. The protagonist's ability to engage Rher in direct combat represents a culmination of human development and cosmic sophistication that has been building throughout both Fear and Hunger games. This individual has survived systematic elimination, resisted cosmic corruption, and maintained their essential humanity while gaining cosmic awareness and power. They represent the ultimate expression of human potential when properly developed and courageously applied to cosmic challenges. The nature of the combat itself reflects the fundamental incompatibility between human and cosmic modes of existence. While the protagonist fights using conventional weapons and abilities enhanced by cosmic knowledge, Rher employs reality-altering powers that transcend normal physical limitations. The fact that mortal capabilities can compete with cosmic power, even in reduced form, demonstrates the potential for human consciousness to evolve beyond traditional limitations when properly motivated and developed. The psychological dimensions of the confrontation are as important as its physical aspects. The protagonist must not only survive Rher's attacks, but maintain their sanity and moral integrity when faced with direct cosmic consciousness. The encounter tests whether human psychology can withstand exposure to alien divine awareness without losing essential humanity or surrendering to cosmic perspectives that would eliminate empathy and individual moral responsibility. Rher's apparent boredom with the confrontation, leading to his eventual withdrawal rather than decisive victory, reveals crucial aspects of cosmic psychology and the limitations of divine power. Even in direct conflict, Rher cannot achieve complete victory over human opposition, because such victory would require a level of engagement and commitment that contradicts his essential nature. His cosmic perspective makes individual conflicts seem insignificant, regardless of their immediate stakes or symbolic importance. The protagonist's survival of the encounter represents more than personal victory. It demonstrates the viability of human resistance to cosmic tyranny and the potential for mortals to maintain their essential nature, even when confronted with overwhelming divine power. This survival provides hope for future human development, while also establishing precedents for how cosmic conflicts might be resolved without complete capitulation to divine authority. The transformation that the protagonist undergoes as a result of the encounter reflects the inevitable changes that occur when human consciousness directly contacts cosmic reality. While they survive the confrontation with their essential humanity intact, they are fundamentally altered by the experience, gaining cosmic awareness and perspective that separates them from normal human consciousness. This transformation represents both achievement and loss, demonstrating the costs as well as the benefits of cosmic contact. The cosmic implications of the confrontation extend far beyond its immediate participants to encompass broader questions about divine authority, cosmic justice, and the future evolution of reality itself. The protagonist's successful resistance to Rher's power demonstrates that cosmic hierarchy is not as absolute as traditional divine mythology claims, opening possibilities for alternative arrangements of cosmic authority that might better serve the interests of all conscious beings. The resolution of the confrontation, with Rher's withdrawal rather than decisive outcome, reflects the complex nature of cosmic conflicts and the difficulty of achieving clear victories when dealing with entities that operate on vastly different scales of time and significance. Neither complete victory nor total defeat occurs, but rather a form of cosmic détente that acknowledges the legitimacy of different perspectives while maintaining ongoing tension between competing cosmic philosophies. The aftermath of the confrontation creates new cosmic precedents and possibilities that will influence future interactions between human and divine consciousness. The demonstration that mortals can successfully resist cosmic power when properly prepared and motivated changes the fundamental dynamics of divine-mortal relationships, creating opportunities for more equitable arrangements, while also potentially inspiring more sophisticated forms of cosmic opposition. Perhaps most significantly, the final confrontation with Rher represents the completion of humanity's cosmic adolescence, the transition from dependence on divine authority to independent cosmic citizenship. While humans remain vulnerable to cosmic forces and divine manipulation, they have demonstrated the capacity for autonomous cosmic action and resistance to unjust divine authority. This achievement opens new chapters in cosmic evolution while also creating new responsibilities and challenges that future generations must address. Conclusion: the eternal dance of cosmic forces. As we reach the end of our comprehensive exploration of Rher, the Trickster Moon God, we find ourselves confronting the same cosmic questions that have driven this ancient entity for countless millennia. What is the proper relationship between mortal and divine consciousness? Who has the right to wield cosmic power? Can traditional hierarchies adapt to changing realities, or must they be replaced entirely? These questions remain as relevant today as they were at the dawn of cosmic civilization. Rher's story represents more than the tale of a single cosmic entity. It embodies the eternal tension between order and change, tradition and innovation, authority and freedom that characterizes all conscious existence. His jealous opposition to human ascension reflects genuine concerns about cosmic stability and the preservation of proven systems, even as his methods demonstrate the cruelty and injustice that can result from rigid adherence to hierarchical authority. The complexity of Rher's character defies simple moral categorization. He is simultaneously cosmic tyrant and cosmic guardian, destroyer of human potential and preserver of universal order, revealer of truth and master of deception. This complexity reflects the sophisticated storytelling of the Fear and Hunger series, which refuses to provide easy answers to difficult questions about power, authority, and moral responsibility. The ultimate failure of Rher's cosmic mission, despite his vast power and sophisticated methods, demonstrates that even cosmic entities are subject to forces beyond their control. The tide of cosmic evolution, the natural development of consciousness, and the inexorable pressure of change ultimately prove stronger than any individual entity's ability to preserve static conditions. This lesson applies not only to cosmic conflicts, but to all situations where established authorities attempt to prevent natural development and growth. Yet Rher's legacy extends far beyond his immediate failures and successes. His influence on human consciousness, his contributions to cosmic knowledge, and his role in forcing humanity to develop greater sophistication and resilience all represent positive outcomes that emerged from apparently negative interventions. The adversity he created ultimately strengthened those who survived it, contributing to human cosmic evolution in ways that benevolent guidance might not have achieved. The Fear and Hunger series uses Rher's story to explore fundamental questions about the nature of consciousness, the proper use of power, and the responsibilities that come with cosmic awareness. These themes resonate beyond the boundaries of gaming to address real-world concerns about authority, justice, and the relationship between individual welfare and collective good. The series suggests that these questions have no easy answers, but must be continuously addressed through ongoing dialogue, resistance to tyranny, and commitment to moral growth. The incomplete nature of Rher's story, with many questions left unanswered and many cosmic mysteries unexplored, reflects the ongoing nature of these fundamental conflicts. Cosmic evolution continues, new divine entities emerge, and humanity's relationship with cosmic forces continues to develop in unexpected directions. Rher's chapter in this larger story may be concluding, but the cosmic questions he embodied remain as pressing as ever. The technical and artistic achievement represented by the Fear and Hunger series, particularly in its creation of characters like Rher, demonstrates the potential for video games to address profound philosophical and moral questions through interactive storytelling. The medium's unique ability to place players in the position of cosmic agents, forced to make difficult moral choices under extreme pressure, provides insights into these questions that purely passive forms of entertainment cannot achieve. For those who have journeyed with us through this comprehensive exploration of Rher's lore, the experience serves as both entertainment and education, providing hours of deep engagement with complex themes, while also contributing to our understanding of storytelling, mythology, and the human condition. The Fear and Hunger series reminds us that the best gaming experiences offer more than simple diversion. they provide opportunities for growth, reflection, and deeper understanding of ourselves and our universe. As we conclude this epic journey through the cosmic mythology of fear and hunger, we're reminded that great stories never truly end, but continue to evolve through the minds and imaginations of those who engage with them. Rher's story will continue to inspire discussion, analysis, and creative interpretation for years to come, just as the best mythological figures have done throughout human history. The lasting impact of exploring characters like Rher lies not in the specific details of their fictional exploits, but in the way they illuminate universal truths about power, responsibility, and the eternal struggle between competing visions of how reality should be ordered. These are the stories that define us as conscious beings and help us navigate the complex moral and philosophical challenges that characterize existence at any level of cosmic sophistication. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of gaming's most fascinating and complex mythological figures. If you enjoyed this comprehensive exploration of Rher, the Trickster Moon God, for more in-depth examinations of gaming's greatest stories. Until next time, keep exploring those epic tales, fellow adventurers, and remember that the most profound truths are often found in the darkest corners of our favorite fictional universes.